Alone in a room, it's just me and you. I feel so lost.
Are giants. Let's also remember how precious life is, because as we've learned, with the snap of the finger, we all.
So I just want to talk about the three things Paul taught me as a comedian. The first thing he taught me was how to be fearless. He was the most fearless comedian I've ever seen. We used to
watch Paul Mooney back in the 70s, early 80s. He used to sit on a stool at about 1:30 in the morning. We'd give him a moe, and we'd put a straw in it, and then he would say the N-word a lot. Obviously, I can't say that.
And all that. And Paul remembered that and go, why people keep apologizing? I'm sorry, I didn't know. Just plus we also well now, since I've been here, I said, since I've been here, everybody talking about Mr. Mooney. Everybody talking about Mr. Mooney. Now there's many stars, but only one moon. That's what the nigga used to say. I said there's many stars, but there's only one motherfucking moon.
I had never seen anybody like him before in my life. He spoke an authentic truth. He made people uncomfortable, but he made us think. And I just remember all these people walking out like, damn, like he was walking out left and right, and Paul was like, leave, leave.
Tomorrow is Sunday. Now there's only one day left to go.
I guess it's going to be a different world without Paul Mooney. All through the quarantine and all through the insurrection, all I kept hearing was people saying, God, I wish Paul would say something about this. God, I wish Paul would be able to say something about this. He was the person that we listened to when the shit was going down. What would Paul say?
I'm thinking about it right now, and you know, Paul left us a legacy, and he's the architect of so many of the great ones, from Red Fox, Richard, Eddie, inspiration to Dave Chappelle, the Wayans, the list is so long. We were personal friends, and I will never forget one of the most adorable.
Walking by, you look long
Paul Bradley was welcomed into this world on August 4th, 1941 in Shreveport, Louisiana. He was raised largely by his grandmother in Oakland, California. As a teen, he competed in dance contests and eventually performed on television show Dance Party. It was a California alternative to American Bandstand. Paul graduated from Berkeley High School, not Beverly Hills High School, and later served in the Army and joined Patty Charles Circus after seeing a help-wanted ad for a ringmaster. Paul married Yvonne Carruthers, an actress known for her role in Which Way's Up. Yvonne also did a spot of modeling in her career, establishing a name for herself in the 70s. While married, Paul and Yvonne successfully brought forth children. Simeon, who passed away in 2001. Shane and Spring Mooney, who were all active in their father's lives and stood by his side for many, many years. It is to be noted that Tony Leonard is the mother of Dwayne and Daryl Mooney, affectionately known as the Mooney twins. Paul also had a daughter by the name of Elisa Marie Swartz, who maintains strong ties with her Mooney family and is his dad. Paul played an integral part in the life of renowned actor Richard Pryor. Paul composed many routines Richard performed in. Beyond that, he left his mark on Pryor's legacy by taking on the role as head writer of the fan favorite The Richard Pryor Show. He also served as the head writer for the show in living color and created the character Homie. In 1975, a new sketch comedy, which was then known as Saturday Night, was reaching the midway point of the first season on NBC. It was Paul Mooney who wrote the episode with Richard Pryor and Chevy Chase that put SNL on the map. He also became known as the member of the Black Pack, a comedy clique that included Robert Townsend, Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall, and Keenan Ivory Wayans. In 2006, Paul made headlines when he renounced the N-word after fellow comedians' racist outbursts at a famous comedy venue in Hollywood. Never one to rest on his laurels, Paul continued to entertain nationwide under the watchful care of his cousins, Rudy Ely and Carolyn Hines, even though at times his health would not permit it. Paul was one of the first Black comedians accepted into the Writers Guild and is often cited as one of the godfathers of comedy. His comedian endeavors have gone down in history, substantiating his own legacy then and now, thus showing New Age comedians how it's really done. Paul Mooney is preceded in death by his father, George Gladney, his mother, Lavonia Baker, his son, Simeon Mooney, and grandparents, Preston and Sarah.
That's right. That's right. They started us out.
Please to cherish his memory, Yvonne Marie, his brother Ronald Fleming, wife Lynn, sons Daryl and Dwayne, the Mooney twins.
That's right.
Son Shane Mooney, daughter Elisa Marie Swartz, and Spring S. Mooney.
If I had I would have been a bigger star. They used to always call our father the Black Paul Newman, and our father would say, no, he's the white Paul Newman.
I'd like to introduce some people that work on the show.
Richard allowed me to go out and find the talent. No one had to audition.
Tim Reeves, Marshall Wardell, Robin Williams, Detroit, John Witherspoon, Paul Mooney.
Gave so many people their first breakthrough to Richard Pryor Show. Paul Mooney gave me the first scene I ever did on TV, one-on-one with Richard Pryor. Throughout my career, Paul has been a constant and has always been a champion. He's one of the most brilliant writers. He does something that nobody else has ever done that I've worked with, and that he listens to you and gives you back what you said in a way that you didn't hear when you said it, and makes it funny and makes it work. And it's a talent and a genius that really is underrated.
Mr. Paul Mooney.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's wonderful. Long overdue, but wonderful. But I actually think that the whole hip-hop, all of this, is a backlash from the civil rights movement and from the movement. We never followed that through. We were supposed to be free, and this dream never came true. And I think the kids are defying, they're angry about it, that we didn't make it the way it should be.
He's probably one of the most successful comedians, and he's certainly one of the most influential of his generation. He prides himself on tackling the issues that other people won't touch.
You can't mix black though with Mexican. It's not the same. The Mexicans volunteered to come here to work for a quarter. We were forced to come here to work for free. Underline the free. Underline the free. For 500 fucking years. Free. So if black people choose to sit on their ass, so be it.
And it was just such a joy to watch him, man, because I felt he was saying things that so many people wanted to say but were afraid to say.
And I'm supposed to be happy because we got one black president. One? I'm not excited. White folks have had 43. Give me 43 black ones, and then I'll get excited. It's not about being dead, it's about the reality of it. If we're going to talk reality, let's talk reality. Why should I get excited? One black president, I'm supposed to be over thrilled? I'm not thrilled. White folks have had 43. And if I get a black vice president, a black everything, then I'll get excited. But until then, I'm not getting excited. Because what goes around comes around. You can have all that, but I can't.
Okay.
You can wear Nikes, but I can't wear them. And if I wear them, I'm supposed to be excited now because you kept them from me. No, it doesn't work that way with me. I'm not impressed. I wait all the time. You have a black president, so that's one.
Okay.
No big deal to me.
Okay.
I think the kids call it even Steven.
Paul Mooney. Oh homie, it's all about that, homie. It's all about that. No, Paul Mooney, I gotta say this, when I think in terms of the Black Pack and us starting out, the man who really schooled us a lot early on as young comedians was Paul Mooney, who would sit with us. And, Paul had written on all the shows, and he would just take time to talk game. I just remember being Keenan, just young, so how do you get into, how do you do, you're just young and you're hungry for questions. And Paul Mooney would always take time for us, and he was in my first Partners in Crime. He was in Hollywood Shuffle, the president of the NAACP.
And I say that as long as black actors play these roles, they'll never play the Rambos until they stop playing the Sambos. I said you have to find your center, and whatever you think about yourself is what the audience think. I said, so you're beautiful, you know you're beautiful, get up there and do what everybody wants to be there. I said they're gonna flip for you when they get a hold of you. And everything I told her came to pass. I said they are gonna be so much in love with you, you'll be the hottest thing going. That's the one thing that frightens white people, is unity between blacks. They don't want us to have anything in common because we like what the favorite dance step is. We can spread that quickly. We all dance the same. It has variations throughout the states, but it's all the same. And if we ever communicate the way we do when we dance, we'll be the problem in America. It's time.
Who came up with the concept of Mooney the Clown? The character was inspired by Paul Mooney. Mooney was like the angriest writer up in Living Color. Yeah. And he would break their face all the time and keep going, no, homie, I don't think so. I want you guys to So they wrote this sketch about this clown, and then, I did the rest.
When I was around the Comedy Store, I was basically the host of the Comedy Store, like MC,
The first time I was at the Comedy Store, Paul Mooney and them, they gave me the light because I was going on, so I just kept going. I hadn't met Paul Mooney yet.
and Richard would come in. I look at the back, Richard Pryor's in the back. I thought, how you doing here, Richard? How you doing? He knew Paul Mooney. Mooney was, and David Banks, all these, anytime you got all these guys at the Comedy Store, Richard want to do another album.
And I was like first year SNL, and I was killing. And I was like, they're giving me the light. And I was only there for like 10 minutes. And I said, who's supposed to be coming on? They said, Paul Mooney. I said, who's Paul Mooney? They said, yeah. I said, you want to see me or Paul Mooney? And I said, so I did like another hour or something. When I came up the stage, they were like crazy.
I go to the door. If they have a problem, I go to the door and settle the problem. Just being polite and stuff.
Boom, Witherspoon was in by the bathroom at the Comedy Store, and he said, next time you told you to get off that stage, you better get off that stage. I said, man, he said, you got mama too. And we went outside and talking a lot. Then Mooney came walking up, and he's like, excuse me, yes, you have a routine about the Amityville horror, about a ghost in the house. And I was like, yes. He said, well, I have a routine that's very simple. Let me hear your routine. And I was like, I'm not doing my routine in the parking lot. He said, you. And I was with John Landis. He said, you too, white man. If I had a knife, if I had a gun, I'd shoot the both of them. That was the first night I met him.
It's these things sometimes we're all looking for a reason to laugh these days because, you turn on the TV, you pick up the paper. What do you see out there, Mr. Mooney?
I'm just happy just to be here to see that America is getting what it deserves.
Swarms of protesters supporting outgoing President Donald Trump stormed the building in an attempt to force Congress to undo Trump's election law.
A maniac is running the country.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength.
Whatever it takes, read this dictator. Vote is my tail. Ask the mayor. Prime time preload. Prime time crime like no other in this lifetime. White House killer. Dead in lifelines. This show got one time tried. Unprecedented. The minute many president. Nazi Gestapo. Dictator defendant. It's not what you think. It's what you follow. Run for them Jews. Right in that America is getting what it deserves. They created that environment, the racial environment, the jokes. If you watch white folks' old movies and old cartoons and old magazines and read their, go read their books and from a long time ago, they've always made fun of anybody who wasn't white. They've always got a joke out of it. They always find it very funny. They always find it very comical.
Please don't beat me, my husband. Don't beat that tired old body. No.
What's this I hear about you whipping slaves? I just think basically they can dish, but they can't take it.
You just walked into excuse me.
What makes them comfortable, what time, what fits for them. All right, the show is starting. 5 more minutes, the show will start.
There's so much that can be said about the Paul Mooney Presents a Night of Comedy concert series. So let's begin by acknowledging those that came out nationwide as Paul Mooney presented the best in senior and up-and-coming comedians of TV, film, and social media. During intermission, Paul managed to stop by the lobbies to pose for pictures, signed autographs, and even took a few selfies. Now, these series of comedy events began in Oakland and wrapped up in New Orleans night after night, and was produced by Rudy and Regina Clonette Entertainment Productions, all in the name of comedy, for the man himself, Mr. Paul Mooney.
Give yourself a round of applause. Come back. As you look great, we want to thank you for coming out. Love to see you.
Real quick, I gotta make a shout out. Today is one of my favorite comedians that's ever lived's birthday. So I want to just film you guys wishing him a happy birthday. This motherfucker is turning 79 today. This motherfucker is a comedy legend, and only other legends would understand. You're the best. You're one of the greatest comedians I've ever seen in any era, and you're my hero. Happy birthday, Paul Mooney. I love you.
I've known it for a long time that laughter is powerful. I like what I do, and I think that's a blessing. When you laugh, it releases some kind of energy that's great, It's a healer. I'm blessed, and I appreciate that.
This morning at 10:15 a.m. Eastern, I received a phone call, and my phone lit up and it said Paul Mooney. But when I answered the call, it was his cousin Rudy Ely letting me know that 2 hours earlier, Paul had passed away from a heart attack. They were unable to revive him, and he was pronounced dead at the age of 79.
One of the best comedians I've ever had the privilege of seeing. I can say this almost every single time I was around Paul. I learned something. He was committed to the thing that he learned, which was comedy. Paul often felt, in my exchange with him, that he was unappreciated, that people didn't understand how great he was, and he would let you know it all the time. But he was truly a great artist.
I was in awe of Mooney the first time I met him. Of course, he paid me no mind, like a bug on a table. Because Mooney didn't like anybody unless he respected you, and he wasn't shy about telling anybody who he cared for, who he didn't care for. Mooney never tried to change me. He never said you should be more ladylike. He never said you should watch that mouth, because he was all about calling it what it is and not trying to make white folks comfortable.
That's a tough one. I want to shout out every comedian on earth. One of the best that ever did it passed away today. His legacy will live forever. He did everything from Richard Pryor's show to Chappelle's show. He was one of the first black people ever in the Writers Guild. Paul Mooney will be sorely missed and wildly remembered.